You're listening to the Trading Bear podcast. This is episode 33, The Daily Show.
Mystery player. Position.
Midfielder.
Start price.
70p.
Current price.
£2.26.
PB.
4p.
MB.
0.
Dividend yield.
1.8%.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining in. In the news today, Barcelona want to raise €300 million in player sales this summer, and will listen to offers for Philippe Coutinho, Samuel Umtiti, and Ivan Rakitic. This is according to ESPN. The European giants are keen to strengthen their squad further this summer, having already agreed an $80 million deal with Ajax midfielder Frankie de Jong, and heavily linked with moves for Jovic, Griezmann, and de Jong's teammate at Ajax, Matthias de Ligt. Staying in Spain, and Villarreal's young 19-year-old Nigerian striker, Samuel Chukwueze, is attracting interest from English clubs after his good performance in Villarreal's 4-4 draw with Barcelona. This is according to Spanish media outlet Marca, with the report stating that Chukwueze has a €40 million release clause, with Villarreal eager to increase this. And payments to football agents reach record levels, with $260 million spent on agent fees, a $49 million increase from the previous 12 months, despite fees for the transfers themselves falling by more than $500 million. Liverpool were found to be spending the most, with a figure of $43 million spent on agents' fees alone, to bring in the likes of Alisson, Fabinho, Keita, and Xherdan Shaqiri. A rise in agent fees then, but which players saw their football index price rise? Well, you won't be surprised to hear today's highest riser is Callum Hudson-Odoi, rising 56p to take him to a current price now of £5.22. The Chelsea youngster finally started the league game under Sarri in last night's 3-0 victory over Brighton, providing an assist for Giroud's first goal. His statistics in terms of the Football Index performance matrix were extremely impressive indeed. Hudson-Odoi racked up the crosses on his way to scoring 197 points, enough to challenge in the forward category usually, and this is without even scoring a goal, let alone a game-winning goal. So signs there that Cho could well challenge for PB, as well as his apparent media-friendly tag, which would combine Cho to a true heavy hitter status, where he currently sits 6th in the overall rankings, in between Messi and Sterling. With this huge rise today, those that have checked my Twitter at TradingBear1 would have seen that he became my first 100% player, and he shows no signs of stopping. With likely media throughout the summer, even if Chelsea's transfer ban is indefinitely confirmed, he's a strong hold, even more so now with excellent PB figures, and don't forget he's got the Europa to come as well. And we stay with Chelsea for today's second riser, and it's yet another Chelsea youngster. I could easily be talking about another player that scored and assisted against Brighton in Ruben Loftus-Cheek, but today's second riser is actually a player that is currently playing elsewhere, out on loan to Derby, and it's promising attacking midfielder Mason Mount. Mount has risen 21p today to sit at £1.34. So what has caused this rise? Well, Mount himself has been out injured for a large chunk of 2019 after a good first half of the season for the Rams. Now back in the fold again, his current manager Frank Lampard said the following today. Firstly, he has the potential to be a top player, and I mean that. He broke into the England squad, which I thought was a great achievement after playing for us. He is a player who really wants to learn and be at the top. Is important as the talent itself. He works fantastically hard, he's a good team player, and I think he can go as far as he wants to. I've seen a progression in him now. So high praise indeed there from a player that certainly knows Mason Mount's position and how to succeed there. Now there have been also some rumours linking him with a move to RB Leipzig in the Bundesliga next season, and certainly this is not something that will faze the 20-year-old, with Mount already spending a successful season with Vitesse in the Netherlands, scoring 9 goals in 29 appearances. So similar to Phil Foden in Manchester City, a young player backing up with good performances. Definitely one to watch next season. So Chelsea provided us with today's risers. Who is providing us with today's fallers? Well, we start in Manchester, where today's big faller is Manchester United captain and unofficial Real Madrid spokesperson, Paul Pogba. He's fallen 18p and now sits at £7.83. So why the large drop off today? Well, any hopes of a transfer has been seemingly dashed, as it would confirm that Manchester United are not even entertaining the idea of selling their captain, along with the fact that Pogba has no release clause in his contract, something that incidentally is mandatory for all players in La Liga. So if you combine that with the recent trend in premiums players falling and IPD players rising, more on that in a minute, and then you can begin to understand why he is falling. With no MB and no PB in the last 7 days, and traders will soon start to get itchy, however wrong that may or may not be. Personally, I sold Pogba on the share split and moved those funds into Hazard and Callum Hudson-Odoi, but if you are holding, expect to see dividends once more in the future, especially with the match-up with Barcelona only next week. Today's second faller, we head over to the other half of Manchester and to Manchester City, and it's Gabriel Jesus. The striker has fallen 7p today and now sits at £1.85p. This is merely just a correction after his mini rise pre-game against Cardiff. He failed to score and hence has dropped down to where he was at the end of last week. He's far from great for PB, and indeed Manchester City themselves are notorious for sharing out their PB stats, so he needs multiple goals to keep the traders happy. When no goals appear, sales will start. Simple explanation for this one then. Let's head into some of your questions now then. And today's first question comes from Ross via Index Gain, and Ross wants to know, what is the future for heavy hitter premium players, namely Pogba, Messi and Neymar? It seems in recent weeks they have all consistently fallen, despite in Messi's case in particular showing no signs of loss of form. Yes, Ross, there's definitely been a trend in recent days of money being shifted out of the premium players, with Pogba falling 20p, Messi 11p and Neymar slightly less at 7p. So why is this happening? Well, first of all, we have to remember that the vast majority of the premium players saw a lot of cash injections into them during the share split announcement. Messi in particular rose £2 in one day alone on the back of his well-timed hat-trick. So we can't expect these players to simply continue to rise every single day. There will always be peaks and troughs. It's just how a market works. Secondly, if money is moving out of them, where is it therefore going? And there's an easy answer to that. It's going into whoever's scoring or assisting on any given day at the moment. There's a huge appetite for these players between the 50p and £1.50 mark, as the new dividends represent a good return of interest on a player at this price, if timed correctly. The likes of Rashica at Werder Bremen, Belotti at Torino and Ilicic at Atalanta, all being beneficiaries of this money flow. So are these drops likely to continue long term then? Well, next week the Champions League returns to remind traders why premium players are priced where they are, and therefore expect the money to tip the other way and once again flow back into them. Today's second question comes from Paul Dews via email, and Paul wrote, do you know of anywhere where I can easily track players' in-play dividends? I find the email from Football Index doesn't always come through to me, which shows the breakdown by player, and yes, I have checked my spam. So Paul, the bad news is there's nowhere as of yet that easily tracks in-play dividends, at least that I'm aware of. Listeners, if you have a suggestion, please feel free to message myself on Twitter at TradingBear1. So as for myself, what do? Well, I currently manually enter in the assists and goals into my spreadsheet, which you can download for free from the website tradingbearpodcast.com. This is fairly time consuming, as Paul has actually mentioned in his email, but at least it still acts as a safeguard to check against what you have been paid. In terms of making sure you receive the in-play dividend breakdown payment, make sure you have opted in to receive them. To do this, log on to Football Index and under Account Details, make sure you have checked the box next to Email under the Contact Preferences list. Be aware that there are a few issues currently with the payment of IPDs from this week and last, although the payments look to have been paid out tonight in separate transactions. So keep an eye on your transaction history page for the details of those. And hopefully a solution for a hassle-free tracking of in-play dividends will arise soon. And that's it for this episode. You can download and subscribe to the show on iTunes, Spotify and Podbean. Head over to the website to send in a question, tradingbearpodcast.com. Alternatively, you can find me on Index Gain or Twitter under the name Trading Bear. Thanks for listening and stay tuned for the Mystery Player.
Mystery player. Position.
Midfielder.
Start price.
70p.
Current price.
£2.26.
PB.
4p.
MB.
0.
Dividend yield.
1.8%.
Trading bear. Today's mystery player was Leverkusen playmaker Kai Havertz.